to appeal decision of the appellate court. Welcome everyone to Lunchtime Politics. Well, let's start the dose of the noon political bulletin with the activities of the President, Muhammadu Buhari, who we understand is presently at a security briefing at the State House in Abuja. The meeting has in attendance security chiefs as well as governors of Kaduna, Yobe and Borno states. The meeting is set to center around security in those states, but not much of the rest of the agenda is known at this time. Security in those states have raised concerns over the past weeks with banditry, insurgency and communal clashes, which have led to several deaths. Well, after agitations against the ban on campaigns, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has lifted the ban on political campaigns ahead of the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections scheduled for Saturday, February the 23rd, as well as the Governorship State Assembly and Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections on March the 9th, 2019. A statement by the Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee says the approval for political parties and their candidates to resume campaigns was given after due consultation with parties, adding that the campaign ends by midnight of Thursday, February the 21st. Well, the Commission adds that it has also worked out a detailed plan to ensure that election materials arrive at polling units in good time for the prompt commencement of the polls on the 23rd of February. It also promises to provide an update at a press conference today at the Abuja International Conference Center by about 3 p.m. The postponement of last Saturday's general elections meant so many things, especially for politicians who are now strategizing ahead of the rescheduled date. Now, Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, they're holding an emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee to re-strategize. The meeting, which has been scheduled for today, February the 19th, is expected to host leaders of the party, including the presidential candidate, Mr. Atiku Abubakar. The emergency meeting is coming a day after the ruling All Progressives Congress also had a caucus meeting with President Buhari in attendance. Well, let's get some more information into the issues that will be raised at the meeting. Our correspondent covering the People's Democratic Party Secretariat, Kayla Migwa, well, she joins us from the PDP's national headquarters, the Wadata House. Hello, Kayla. What is the major agenda of the meeting and any major attraction of note?
The 84th of such a meeting.
We apologize for that poor audio, and hopefully we'll connect with Kayla subsequently. But it's also several hours of meeting laced with a controversial statement talking about the All Progressives Congress, the National Caucus meeting. And it has come with loads of reactions. Now, the president told party men that he is sure of the support of Nigerians across states and warned those he referred to as political thugs not to attempt to divert ballot boxes, as anyone found wanting will be dealt with ruthlessly by police and the army. Well, President Buhari says the army and the police have been accordingly instructed. He also says the government will investigate the rescheduling of last Saturday's election. Our correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
It's no longer feasible.
48 hours after the postponement of the 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the ruling All Progressives Congress has called an emergency caucus meeting for what appears to be a re-strategizing ahead of the new date, just 5 days away. The meeting is well attended, but noticeably absent are the governors of Imo and Ogun states.
Your Excellency.
First to speak is the national chairman of the party. He calls for a minute's silence in honor of the party supporters who lost their lives during the course of the campaigns, and goes on to make strong accusations against the electoral umpire and the main opposition People's Democratic Party.
How can our brothers and sisters in Akwa Ibom State have confidence when the process, the recruitment, the training, the deployment of the ad hoc staff is done between the INEC rec and the government of Akwa Ibom State. I can put my hand on the Holy Quran that INEC leadership knew that they were going to postpone the election. They shared this information with the People's Democratic Party. I have no difficulties in secondus to have a new INEC chairman.
Following INEC's position that despite the postponement of the election, campaigns cannot continue, the APC national chairman, like the main opposition People's Democratic Party, insists on resumption of campaigns.
The law says you are entitled to renew campaign up to 24 hours before the date of election. So without consulting INEC, we are proceeding, and we are ready to meet them in court because they cannot, by administrative fiat, amend or distort extra provisions in the relevant Electoral Act.
It's the turn of President Muhammadu Buhari to speak. He described the postponement of the election as incompetent.
The reasons why such incompetence manifests itself has to be explained to the nation. After the election, we have to know exactly what happened and who is responsible.
Nigerian elections in the past have been marred with thuggery and ballot box snatching. The president has a strong stance on this.
I am going to warn anybody who thinks he has enough influence in his locality to lead a body of thugs to snatch boxes or to disturb the voting system. He will do it at the expense of his own life.
The president's instructions to security agencies against political thugs and ballot box snatchers will perhaps be the center of conversations in the coming days ahead of the elections. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Well, there are also criticisms on the statements made at the APC INEC meeting yesterday, and majorly coming from the main opposition party, PDP. Now, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, described the comment of the President over ballot box snatchers as a call for extrajudicial killing. Well, Mr. Dogara also condemned the comments of the APC National Chairman, Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, who alleged that the PDP colluded with INEC to postpone the election, describing it as mischievous and inflammatory. Well, amidst the postponement, conversation comes from realities of some of the challenges in our democracy. The lift on the ban and our electoral process is coming under loads of scrutiny. Now, let's get some perspective on some of these issues that have been thrown up by all of these developments. I'm now being joined by Samsudeen Yusuf. He is the Program Manager, Center for Democratic Development, CDD, and joins us from Abuja studio. A pleasure to have you on Lunchtime Politics this afternoon. And let's ask you straight away, let's get your thoughts on President Muhammadu Buhari's statement. Some have referred to it as a marching order. At his party meeting, he warned those he referred to as political thugs not to attempt to divert ballot boxes, as anyone found wanting will be dealt ruthlessly. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think I would have expected the president to actually not make that kind of statement in the public, especially when we are having a whole lot of crises, political tensions in a lot of places across the country. And going back to the history of our security agencies at this point in time, with a whole lot of, human rights violations and so on and so forth, I think it's fundamental that a statement coming from the president will hold a lot of weight in terms of determining the response of our security agents to incidents of violence on the day of elections. The Constitution, the Electoral Act is quite clear on what should be the consequence of anybody who engages him or herself in such form, in electoral malfeasance and any form of electoral violence on the day of election. And I would have expected the president to make reference, strong reference, to that provision in the electoral law, and also emphasize the need for police and other security agencies to beam their light and ensure that anybody who engages in such violent act is arrested and prosecuted, in accordance to the law.
And talking about the law, Mr. Yusuf,
the citizens that whosoever engages in such violence will be brought to, will face the wrath of law.
Mr. Yusuf, but, now you mentioned the law, if I may.
Asking the security agents to threatening whosoever engaged that, and threatening with life is something that shouldn't have come from Mr. President at this point in time. That there are a lot of conversation, back and forth discussions on the postponement by the political parties, a lot of accusation coming up, and this has a lot of consequence in further boosting the already tension in the country at the moment.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, sir.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Talk to us about this 84th meeting.
Well, it's the neck of the party, and don't forget that quite a number of issues are playing out in the polity. The postponement of the elections, the NEC as the highest decision-making organ of the body will have to take critical decisions on the way forward with respect to campaigns. If there are need for us to go to other states to mop up our campaigns and motivate and mobilize the people to come out. Don't forget that this postponement has its own effect and impact on voters' turnout. So it's our responsibility as a party to also know the right language to use, the way and manner we can network the voters so that they can come out and exercise their right, their freedom to choose who governs them on this Saturday. And so to that extent, the NEC will be sitting down and looking at the issues, accusations against INEC, the statement of the president saying that bullet for ballots, bus snatching and all of that. To us, we feel that is quite unbecoming of a president who remains conditioned with temperament, so that in the final analysis, Nigerians will have value for life. But
I was going to ask you about that, really, because the question is, at least from what we're seeing, people are asking, is if you're not going to be, snatching ballot boxes, yes, these are misdemeanors, and most of them come with fines, but if you're not going to be doing any of that, why would it scare you if the president had made a statement out of turn about it?
It's not about whether you are going to snatch ballot box or you're not going to snatch ballot box. Even in worst-case scenario where you don't met out jungle justice, what you do is to arrest such persons, you hand them over to the police, and you allow the full process of law, to bear on them. Don't forget that when statements are made, they are bound to be abused. Now that the president has made this kind of statement, it's like giving a blanket endorsement for, like somebody said today, it's like a stray bullet that is targeted at hitting the wrong target. So when you say stray bullet, it means that it's not the right person that is hitting. So to that extent, we expect that the president will speak language of professionalism. Tell Nigerians, tell the police, the army, it is what, please play the role of a professional officer and ensure that there's a rule of law and that there's security to lives and property to vote on election day.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, sir.
It's a pleasure. God bless you.
Kayla Megwa there at the PDP's national headquarters, the Wadata House, talking about the strategy meeting with the People's Democratic Party taking place today. Well, let's go for a break. Don't forget, we still have Mr. Yusuf Shamsuddin, Project Manager of Center for Democracy and Development, still with us. Plus, also, we'll bring you more details. Political violence we hear unleashed in Osun and Cross River State. That's in a moment.